Since the new map was announced, one of the burning questions many players have had is it going to be large or small? And honestly, despite them releasing the map's size to both criticism and praise, it actually hasn't answered the question. So here, I'm going to try and share the most interesting things, try not to get demonetized again, and give you some really cool information about DayZ's new map. If you liked the video, please leave a like or a subscribe, it really helps me out, you have no idea. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Oh. Yeah, no. You drive. Feel free to let me know what your first impressions of Sakhal were in the comments. I absolutely do read them and usually reply, even to that one guy who called me a fucking cunt. Okay, so let's start by addressing the elephant in the room and the number one concern so many players seem to have, the PvP side of things. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that if you have a smaller map, you will have more of a focus on PvP. But what if I was to tell you that this might not actually be the case and there's actually more evidence against it than for? To demonstrate some of this evidence, let's take a look at Livonia, for example, which is DayZ's 5-year-old map, making it almost old enough to get an inbox from Dr. Disrespect, because it demonstrates one of the points perfectly. Chernarus stands at an impressive 225 kilometers squared, compared with Livonia, which is only 163 kilometers squared. Livonia was always known to be a little smaller and also had a lot more PvP than Chernarus. In fact, that was one of the maps that I went to when I really wanted to get some early PvP, because so many people were grouped together. If you want to meet people, if you want to talk to people, if you want to engage with people, North Livonia has always been the way to go. But is this increase in PvP down to Livonia's smaller size? This is something I like to refer to as the Livonia effect, because on the surface, you'd think that the answer was absolutely yes. But this answer completely ignores everything that Livonia is and offers, because even if Livonia was twice the size as Chernarus, the way it's structured and it's laid out encourages interaction. This is because everybody spawns in the north and then immediately runs to one of the big 5 cities. This means that although you have 163 kilometers squared to explore, when you actually examine it, most people spend a lot of their time in less than 14 kilometers squared. This is not helped by the fact that the north side of Livonia is pretty flat, especially when it comes to the riverside. There's not a huge valley to climb, there's just these cities surrounded by fields and the occasional forest, which means players filter from all around to these single points, as opposed to Chernarus, which sort of has an L-shaped spawn rate, and even with the newer spawn system they've added in to encourage interaction, it's still entirely possible to go to a town and just not see anybody there, because as the spawn in location eventually moves on, players are spread to the east and south coasts, whereas in Livonia they're spread across a single line. So the design of Livonia focuses on central hubs that draw players in, funneling them through specific paths, increasing the likelihood of encounters. And then there's another thing, holy shit, look at the size of that spider. That guy did not skip leg day. And that is another thing, the design. Sakhal is 83 kilometers squared, but given the escalation, the map isn't as simple as it seems. If its design and pacing are slower, meaning it takes you twice as long to go from point A to point B, then the size becomes less relevant. The slower pacing can create a sense of a larger world, where players have more time to gather resources, form strategies, and anticipate encounters like that thing up there. This can lead to more strategic gameplay where the emphasis is on preparation and planning rather than immediate action. The terrain, obstacles, and the distribution of key locations also play a significant role, as I stated in the Livonia analysis. If the design includes dense forests, mountainous regions, or complex urban areas, players will need to navigate these challenges, making time longer and encounters less frequent but potentially more meaningful. And when you have a map like Sakhal, which kind of looks like it's going to be very hilly and vertically diverse, it can not only make the map feel larger, but it can contribute to the feeling of escalation, as players have more opportunities to scout, plan ambushes, and build up tension before engaging in combat. So in actual fact, instead of improving quantity, it can actually improve quality. And this is even helped by the fact that the new map looks like it's going to have several different biomes, or at least DayZ's version of biomes, meaning that you might actually have to adjust the way you traverse, which again increases the time it takes to go around. But there are two major things that you absolutely don't want to do. The first one is put milk in before the hot water. What kind of monster even does that? The second thing is try to make a map seem larger by adding inconveniences in, because inconveniences can turn repetitive very quickly. And based on the updates we've seen so far of DayZ's Sakhal, it doesn't look as though they're doing that, which is something we didn't have with Livonia, which is a map that, although I absolutely adored, never seemed to truly hit its full potential until several years after release. However, based on everything shared from Sakhal so far, I actually don't think we're gonna experience anything even remotely similar to Livonia's release. I genuinely do believe that players are gonna be really impressed with it, because DayZ right now is in the height of its power. It has never done better than it's currently doing, and this map is probably just another notch on the belt. But if you want to know why Livonia didn't do so well, then click on this video here, or for something else, click here. And as always, until next time.